Hi guys, welcome. Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while now, but because I am a teacher, I can't always say these things in a school setting. And even though I still am a teacher and I sometimes still have my teacher filter on, I just kind of want to be a little bit more open on this video, and I want to talk about religion. Now, before I go into things, this is not a come be in my religion or you're wrong if you're not. This is a video about how I balance being religious with my intellect. Because a lot of times I find that people say, I'm not religious because I know better, or because I'm smarter than that, or just they have their intellectual reasoning as a reason why they are not religious. And so I would like to explain how I am both. Now, if you find that one of these reasons is just not enough for you, that's fine. This works for me, not necessarily for you. If you find yourself getting mad or really frustrated with me and these things that I do, instead of questioning why I do things, maybe you should question why you are so mad. All right, because this video is coming from a place of love and helping others who may feel a little lost. So here we go. Here are 10 ways I balance religion and my intellect. Reason number 1. I have to believe there is more than just being here on earth. I have to believe there's something after, that there's something was before. Because if there's not, what a big waste of space. A big waste of time. All right? My intellectual mind loves purpose. It likes to know why. And then my crazy side mind likes to think of things of like, why not? All right, so my mind is just like, there's got to be more. There has to be more. And so for those of you who are questioning if there is a God, somebody has to be in charge of that. All right? We just can't be here by coincidence. Oh, it just happens that science coincidentally, made us happen. All right? There's someone behind the scenes creating it. I call that person God. Other religions call it something else. Tip number 2. Again, my mind likes to know why. All right, why am I here? This is not a vacation. We are here for a reason. What is that purpose? This is a test. We are here to grow. We are here to be better, to learn. If there are no challenges, then there is no room to grow. And you really learn that when you become a parent. Because yes, you want to give everything to your children, but you know that you can't, because if you do, they become spoiled brats. So you do have to give them guidelines and rules and limitations. That's what this whole thing is for, so that we can grow. If everything was just given and just so easy, we don't learn, we don't grow. And within that place of growth, you're going to have opposition. One is Satan, the inner demon on your shoulder, saying all the bad things. Do this, do that. That will be good for you. That'll be good for you, when it's really not. But then there are also sicknesses and trials that you are born with that suck, but are nonetheless happening to help you grow. My third tip to help you with religion and your intellect. I know the difference between a religious culture and the actual religion. I am a part of a huge religious culture that I sometimes don't like. This whole black and white. This is right and this is wrong. And you are gonna go to hell for it if you do what's wrong. Yeah, that's not my religion. But sometimes that's my religious culture. And so I am mature enough to know the difference between those two. so I don't get offended and I don't get mad and say, screw it all right? Just because there's two different things going on. So instead of going towards that religious culture, I am going towards my religion, which says, love everyone. That's it. And this was almost a freeing thing for me when I really understood this. My goal is to be like Christ. Not to be perfect, but to be like Christ. And so it is not my place to judge anybody for being who they are. My only place, my only job is to love them for it. Is it hard sometimes? Oh yeah. But knowing that that is my only responsibility gets me off the hook. If they're doing something they shouldn't, it's not my job to judge them for it. Because ultimately, it's not my decision. When we all die and go to heaven, I am not the one that's the judge. So let that kind of comfort you in a way. It's not up to you. Let it go. Just love. Are they doing something my religion says that maybe you shouldn't? Doesn't matter. I'm just going to love them. My fourth tip. God must use men to do the work. Men are stupid. And when I say men, I mean all people. Okay, women are stupid too. And because God has to use imperfect people, stupid things happen. And things that I'll never understand had to happen. That's why there are wars and genocide. And, even within the church that I'm in, throughout the history, it's say what now? That happened? It makes me question things for a hot minute. But then I remember, oh yeah, imperfect people. All right? It is not necessarily the goal of God, but the imperfect men, it happens. And again, why is it allowed to happen? Because we must learn, because we must grow. All right, the fifth tip that I have for you that I think is one of the most important things, and I really could say that about every tip, but I feel very strongly about this, is that I am smart. And I am also smart enough to know that I cannot know every answer to every question I may have. Nor do I have the right. All right, there's going to be so many questions that hit you and you want to know. You want to know why immediately. Nope, that information is not for you. Again, the whole reason why we're here is to learn, to grow, to have faith, to trust. If you were given every answer you wanted, how easy would that be? Kind of defeats the whole purpose. Are some of the questions you have about how unfair this is and that is and this is? Sure. But that is part of your trial that you must get through. I have so many gay friends in my life that I cherish, that I adore. And sometimes when I think of them and how hard their life is, I get mad. I get mad at God. I get mad at this stupid religion sometimes, and it shakes my faith. But then I go back. This is a trial. This is part of life. This is how we are all supposed to grow. Now, if I was that person, I have no idea what I would do. I don't know. Because it'd be so dang hard. But me staying in this religion, my goal, my job is to love. Judgment-free. And know that my God is merciful. And that when we all are up there, things are going to be figured out. People aren't going to go to hell. I mean, Mother Teresa, she was not in my religion. And there's no way that woman is going to hell, right? Plenty other people fall under that category. So I know that things are going to be taken care of, and I am not responsible for it. I am smart enough to know that that is not my job. That is not the answers that I'm going to get right now. And I have to be okay with that. That is part of learning, part of this growing. Does it suck? Sometimes. The sixth tip I have for y'all who are struggling with your intellect and religion is that you are not going to have the moment of clarity, because that is not how your mind works. Do some people receive revelation that way? Sure. Me, and those of you who are struggling, we are not those people. We receive answers by what's going on in our heads. We answer it for ourselves. It sounds like ourselves, but it's really, being answered. Okay, we're not gonna have the light shining and, maybe some of you can, but if you're waiting for it, when you're skeptical of it, when you don't respond to that sort of reaction, then why are you waiting for it? Find the way that you hear God, because it's going to be different. And I struggled with that one for a real long time. I'm like, I don't have a burning in my bosom, people. What are you talking about? Oh, it's because he uses my thoughts. Just simple. It's not huge, but works for me. My seventh tip for you is that we are creatures of habit. Religion is not manipulating you. All right, I have a hard time when people are like, you've been manipulated since you were a little kid to believe in this religion. No, I was just taught at an early age, things that I can do, things that will help me. It's literally like learning the ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. We're not being manipulated into learning educational things. It's just what you do when you're little. You teach them small things, okay? So learning how to pray, reading the scriptures, I'm not being manipulated. I'm not manipulating my small children, all right? I'm just giving them tools that could help them when they start to realize things. It's harder to just be like, oh, you have a prefrontal cortex now? Here's a ton of stuff that you can do now. No, we are made of habits. And so if we can start little habits that we can kind of turn to, that can comfort us, and then later have that oh, why am I doing this? Is this right for me? Should I do it this way? You can question it, and that's great. That's great. You want to question things. Religion is about questioning things, but don't think it's manipulation, okay? It's just like the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. You gotta learn sometime. You gotta learn somewhere. The eighth tip. I often find that when people grew up with the church, with strong families in the church, and then they leave, I kind of think that they don't understand how privileged they were to be in that religious family that benefited them. I don't think they really saw it. I mean, all they focus on is the hate and the religious culture, the way that the judgment that they might have felt or whatever, just the anger. They don't realize all the benefits that kind of came from a family-focused, a family-centered unit and a support system within the ward. Does this account for everyone? No, of course not. But I'm just saying, most, maybe a majority. And to be honest, they really don't see the lack of benefits for way longer than what would be helpful, just because they are still connected to that family that they are still kind of receiving those benefits from. And this leads me to my tip number 9. Religion gives you discipline and rules and guidelines that help you become good. I'm not saying all of the rules and stuff, you're probably arguing not all of them are great, not all of them are good, da 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 da. What I'm saying is that having structure makes you successful, teaches you skills that you need. Some people don't see it this way. Again, they see it as manipulation or just oh, how dare they force this on me. It's not about that. That's Satan putting that in your mind, okay? Structure is good. Organization skills are good. Learning how to get up in front of people at a young age is good. And you don't need religion to see that. You see it in schools. You see it in work. All right? Just religion is another way to do that, another way to teach you. So again, it's not trying to like stifle you and like limit you. It's there to actually help you grow. But again, because they have it their whole life, they don't quite see it. Now, before I get to my last tip, I kind of blew through these really fast because I'm trying to keep my, video relatively short. I could go on with each subject for like an entire video at least, but I just wanted to kind of touch on them briefly so I could help anybody who might be struggling with this. Now, some of you are like, well, you didn't touch much on like why women don't have the priesthood and stuff like that. And I don't think it's necessary, only because it's Satan that's saying that you're not worth it, that you're not worthy or whatever. Okay, I could just go on forever about that. Society has made women believe that their jobs, that their talents are beneath, are lower, but they're not. Just because we don't do some jobs doesn't mean our jobs aren't amazing. Okay, so that's why I sometimes feel like that's like a non-issue. It's just you listening to Satan. Any other issue, like throughout history, like the whole, when the pioneers caused a freaking massacre, I mean, that stuff shakes me. But I go back to these tips, it's not about being perfect. We're using imperfect people. And this is hard. It's supposed to test us, but we are supposed to grow from it. Anyway, so I'm going to end with my 10th tip that kind of helps me get through my times when I struggle, when things are a little shaky. And it's the old standby. If you die and it all ends up to be nothing, did you really have a bad life? You are a part of a religion that wants you to be Christ-like. You're a part of a religion that wants you to love thy neighbor. Is that so terrible? That wants you to serve. That wants you to be your best. That wants you to choose the best over a better or good or bad thing. Is that really so terrible? And that was a life lesson with Lindsey. I hope this helps some of you guys. I know it was a lot, and I know I, just barely scratched the surface on a lot of things, but here it is, and I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.